here? Have you been in since
Yeah,
I
I have. I have one time. How are you?
Good.
It's good to see you. I ain't seen you in a while.
I know. I got a present for you, so you don't have to go
What's
outside.
that? I got presents for you and left them at home.
So you don't have to go outside halfway through the episode to smoke.
What the fuck is this?
That's a little mini vape.
I don't know how to do that.
You take it out of the package, and then you suck on it like a cigarette once it's open, and it just does. It hits a little different, but
so
it'll get you a good nick burn in there. And
dude, I am so freaking happy.
What are you
got
drinking?
him here.
I'm happy you got him here because apparently I can't do it on my own.
No, you did get him. Look, it is you.
Yeah, we'll see.
It is you.
We'll see. You guys can talk amongst yourselves on who gets to sit in what chair.
I'm gonna take a leak from these.
Whatever chair makes you
I
comfortable.
already drank a couple of beers. I have a. Oh, it's right here. Fucking A.
Man, you got a whole setup here now. Oh, where'd he go?
He went upstairs.
Drew's got some beers and stuff in it, and then
Man, do you got water in there?
wine, whiskey, yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
big Zen water
Thank
things
you.
on top.
So he gave me this freaking puzzle box. I don't know how to get the damn thing open.
Oh, those are cool.
Well, it's not a puzzle box. It's a vape stick.
Oh.
I don't know how to fucking open it. Yeah. Anyway. I am the wingman. You are the pilot.
Let's just have a good time.
I only open my beak when you want me to.
Let's have a good time. It'll be a good time.
We're gonna have a good time.
Feel free to just jump in. Seriously.
I will
Jump.
but
Oh, yeah.
that's yours. Like Emma said, I have a face for radio. I like doing this shit. I really do.
It's always fun.
It is.
Thanks for having us, Seth.
Thanks for being here. I apologize for now delaying you.
No, we're the ones that came late.
We were late. So we get forgiven for being late because you weren't ready? Is that how that works?
I guess.
How the fuck do I open this? Seriously.
Oh, there you go.
I got it. I broke it. So this is something new for me. What the hell is he doing?
But you don't vape?
No.
They, I mean, I used to, but not
Tastes
anymore.
like fucking coffee. What the fuck? That is so cool.
Some
it's
some of
like
them have
drinking
really
a cup of
nice
coffee.
smells too, man.
What the fuck is he doing?
He went back there for something.
Not here. Just pull
You
off.
lost something.
Huh? Yeah. She lost her.
Tastes like coffee.
You like it? Is that a good thing? I don't know.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. It's great.
Free enterprise at work, buddy. Real markets doing what they do.
Yeah, right?
So he had
That's what I like about him.
oh
He's
yeah,
no shit.
he had Matt Shears, the Democrat candidate, on guy last cycle, and at the end he was like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna lose the state races, just so you know." I like Seth.
Should probably stick with what I know. Anyway. And that is interesting, though.
Yeah, it can be a
Tastes
little
like-
harsh.
Tastes like coffee, man. That's,
I know, I can smell it. It smells like coffee.
somebody bought him a bottle of Cabernet, so from Chile, 2019, not bad. So the left is feeding this guy information. They have no fucking idea what he's doing with it. He has ingratiated himself to them to the point where they feed it to him ad nauseum.
That's awesome.
At some point, he's gonna take it and he's gonna go. You think I'm kidding?
I don't. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. The bearer of gifts. I'm sorry, Seth. We didn't bring you nothing because if you want something from government, we ain't it. We're the party of no.
We're the party now.
Convince me.
It's a cool little setup he has out in his basement, man.
It is. How about that baseball thing, Seth? What are you
Yep.
thinking? Yeah, fuck up. Dude, I'm telling you, he is light years from the first time I came over here.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I
his
remember
tech
first time I was here, he
is-
was over there.
Yeah, his tech is improved. He can do a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I know.
now.
He live streams it now on YouTube, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
if you wanna set them up ahead of time next time, they'll do the whole GOP logo. Right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Fuck yeah, do it up. Do Charlie Kirk's face in the background. My fucking nephew used to do that shit all the time. And I'm like, Mark, shut the fuck up. Just get the fuck away from me. You're a homo. Shut up, Mark. So you were here once before. Did you meet the other guys that do the show with him?
No.
Right. So he's got like 2 or 3 other very close personal friends. They all get along. They hang out together. One of them is actually partner in the business. But they started this. They were just hanging out, sitting around, shooting the shit, talking about shit. You know, why the fuck is shit the way it is? And so Seth leans libertarian, and one of the other guys is leans left. One of the other guys hardcore right, and the other guy's like fuck them all. So yeah, just and I've met a couple of them and been on with them and listened to them go back and forth, and it truly is interesting. And what I learned was what Seth was after is, all right, I'm Joe Schmo. I don't know nothing. I just want to fucking learn more. Where do I go to get the information? Who do I believe? Who do I trust? Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, at some point, this fucking cat's going to come out of the barn and go.
Alright, anyway, sorry about that.
So good.
What's up, man?
What's up? I don't know. Glassware, if we do get into anything fun.
Seth, you look like you actually lost some weight since the last time I've
Don't come
seen
in
you.
here lying to me like that. It's not how we start
I'm not
this.
even lying. I'm being like
I
that
am
serious.
like 25 pounds up since you last saw me, so.
Oh, well, maybe I
You're
don't
lying
remember.
to my face.
Maybe I don't remember right then.
Not having it. Why am I only getting... There it is. Okay. Can you hear? Can you hear?
I can hear.
I can't hear you.
I can hear, but you're talking.
Yes.
Now I can hear.
Okay. I hope you guys didn't talk about anything serious.
Not really.
When?
Okay.
Before we got here?
No, just now. YouTube was running.
I don't think we said anything.
I'll cut it off. I mean, it's mostly just so.
Oh, so you were
space holder.
taping us before you got down here? No, I was just pontificating about how great it will be when you come.
Yeah, he
out
actually
of
was
the
talking really
closet.
well about you. You might want to go back and check. He said
Come
some
out
good
of the
things.
closet, and you start to rule the world.
When we go, so I can call bullshit on it. Check. All right. So here we go. As promised, I got the current chair and the immediate former chair of the Knox County GOP. We're going to do a show. We're going to catch up. Haven't seen Randy in a while. Last time Daniel was here, he was still seeking the seat. He hadn't obtained it yet. I've mentioned my trip to that reorganization event a number of times on the show, so we'll talk more about that. Probably not, because it was a long time ago. But we'll figure out, I don't know what I'm talking about until I'm talking about it. So we're almost in agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Go to our website, almostinagreement.com. While you're there, you can check out all the episodes that we do, as well as whatever favorite podcast provider you have. We should be on there as well. If we're not, shoot us an email, and I'll see about getting on that podcast provider for you. While you're at any of these places, please like, share, friends, subscribe, retweet, follow, whatever the phrase is that the thing does. So it helps spread the word and get the word out. Early voting has ended for this city race. The primary is on Tuesday, so if you're going to do it, you got to get out and do it now if you're in one of the districts that's available to get this primary part out of the way, and then we come back and do it again in November citywide, because that's the dumbest election process I've ever heard of. Anyway, that's all I got for now. So Daniel Herrera and Randy Pace of Knox County GOP, everybody. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Seth? Thanks for having me back.
A day's a day is a day, so we're doing things. I apologize for the pause there at the beginning. I got a little sidetracked. Mom couldn't find something before she got locked down with the kids, and if you're gonna be locked down with kids for 2 hours, why come down here and mess around with you guys? It's only fair that she has all the proper equipment she needs to distract the children while we're doing this.
Sounds good.
My wife's locked down at home
without you,
my
so
daughter.
right.
No, with my daughter.
Pull it to you there a little bit, Randy.
Okay.
Not that you're not capable of being plenty loud, But what's your daughter doing home?
Well, at least you didn't say obnoxious.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, she lives in Knoxville. She came over for dinner. Daniel and his fiance came over, and I invited my daughter over, and we had
It was good.
an interesting meal. It was good. That's why she was there. And now they're at home, and we're here.
Gotcha. So ladies are over there, dudes are in here.
Glad to be here.
Cool. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys want to talk about? What's new? What's happening in the world?
What's happening in the world?
What's
Got
happening
city
in the
elections
world?
going on.
Oh, my gosh, in the world.
All right. So, okay. So, you were on WATE the other day,
I was.
which they're terrible, so I don't blame you for wasting your time with them either. They're
Yes, they are.
because I mean I got into it with them. They put a call out asking for parents about some of the school stuff, and they got me on there. And it's like, get to the end of the episode or the end of the little bit, and she's like, thanks for doing this, whatever. You seem to know a little bit about what's going on. What do you think? Is there somebody else I need to talk to? I was like, have you talked to Ron McPherson with the school board? Because we're talking about schools and money. That's the guy. She's just like, who's that?
Wow.
And it's just like, I get it. No, I don't get it. It's unexcusable to me. Like she as a individual may not need to know that, but that newsroom has been in Knoxville for how long?
Right. Yeah.
Somebody there knows who the
Overnight.
I mean, but somebody there should know better. But anyway, so that all started with you were on there because there seems to be a stink about how much you and the party are involved in these city elections since they're air quotes nonpartisan. And so I guess I would like to hear your thoughts on what nonpartisan means. Let me make sure I ask that correctly, because I know one of the answers, and that's not the one I want.
Yeah.
Not like
We can only answer if we give you the one you want.
No, the whole there's the
Kidding,
subcontext
Seth,
that I'm aware of, and I
kidding,
understand your guys' stance on as far as by operating as nonpartisan. In your guys' opinion, that leans towards the liberal side of conversation. So, that part that's not the part I'm seeking in this. But as far as what is nonpartisan historically in Knoxville, and your understanding of what is that actually supposed to mean?
Sure.
Is it supposed to mean you're not supposed to be involved directly or indirectly? Because it's obvious that both parties do it. It's just how
much
direct and how much, right?
I know. So can I start off by just clarifying this mystery that's going on in social media? When people say this is a nonpartisan election, all that legally means is that there is no D or R or party affiliation next to a candidate. Okay, there's a misinterpretation of state law that says, well, because it's nonpartisan, then the GOP shouldn't be involved. I mean, that's just not true. The state law does not prohibit political parties from getting involved in the state at nonpartisan elections.
Right, because it means that this primary that we are having on Tuesday is not a Republican primary,
exactly,
or a Democratic Party primary. It is a open primary, I guess. I don't know what the technical term is, where anybody.
So what you're saying is you don't have to declare.
No, you don't have to. No, the parties are not required to do that.
Well, how cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, we can, but we're allowed to.
You can, but you don't have to.
All right, I'm gonna go sit over here, and you guys just do.
Look, when I ran for chair, I think I even said on this show, that I was gonna get involved in the city elections, and lo and behold, I'm doing exactly what I campampaigned on. So,
right.
It shouldn't be a surprise. I understand that the party may have not in the past gotten this involved. I mean, we did pay for a mailer. I guess, spoiler alert, we're going to do more. We're going to get more involved as the general election gets closer. So, but I'll tell you what, Seth, it's been great. The response has been excellent. Our membership has exploded with enthusiasm and funds. I mean, I think we have raised more money this year than previous Lincoln days in the past. I mean, if you want to talk Lincoln Day too, I mean,
I do. I have some questions about that, but we'll get there in a minute. Because I guess, I follow the logic on it. I think it's to say that I couldn't. I mean, how many every candidate that I've seen throws every endorsement they have out. Why wouldn't a party being able to endorse in the same way? It's just the lack of. I mean, it makes sense to me, and I like Matt. You guys know I like Matt a lot.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess their version of nonpartisanship is that we're just going to shit on the candidates we don't like, but we're not going to tell you which ones are ours. Which essentially, we're telling you ones we don't like, so we are telling you which ones are ours. Right. But we're not directly saying these are our candidates. We're just saying that candidate's bad and this is why. That candidate's bad and this is why. And we're not talking about this other one because that's a friend.
So and
That's what they are doing. That's what I have seen that they are doing in their interpretation of this is nonpartisan, so the party's not supposed to be involved. Well, you are, and you do.
Well, yeah, we can.
Right.
We are. The thing is, we're not hiding. I'm not hiding it. Look, we're on social media doing it. We have an email list that goes out, whenever we get the opportunity to send something interesting out. And now we're doing mailers. We're going to we're starting to set up a phone bank because we'll forget out the vote too. So, I'm not going to play these games, Seth. I'm not going to go, well, we're not involved. We are involved. We're doing this. We're funding this. That's not how it works. That's not how I operate. And I mean, really, you look at our disclosure forms, you're going to see exactly what we're doing.
Okay, fine. You've hinted towards you. Okay, go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
Well, and you and I have talked about this before. What does it mean to be a nonpartisan election? Elections, by their very nature, are partisan. So, I think, unfortunately, what we ended up with, a bunch of politicians said, "Oh, if we have nonpartisan elections, we'll be able to pull the wool over the public's eye." And that's exactly what happened. Like you said, people are out there and they're telling the public one thing and they're doing another. And again, elections by their very nature are partisan. It has nothing to do with DRR. And honestly, people want good government. Let's get the government we expect. Let's get the government we pay for rather than the government that tells us what we're going to do.
Right.
That's the way it works, and that's what we're dedicated to. Like Daniel said, he ran on the idea that I'm not going to hide the fact that we're conservatives and we want limited, better government, and that's what we're doing.
Right.
Okay. I mean, that was the line of question I had. I don't.
Partisan elections don't exist. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you.
Right. Okay. So Lincoln Day. I'm mad at Randy for not bringing Charlie over here so I could do a quick one with Charlie on the show. I'm sure it would have only cost me $5,000 for an hour of his time. So, and so okay. To me, and I guess I'll put my spin on watching the shit show that has been the conversation about Charlie Kirk and the Lincoln Day and you guys doing what you did or whatever, is I'm not in your party.
Sure.
I don't care what you guys do with your money. And frankly, it's none of my business what you guys do with your money and how you deem it fit to use the money that people donate to you. If I was a party member and I didn't like it, then maybe I have an opinion to play, but I'm not. And to me, it's not newsworthy because I don't know how many registered this is what confuses me about
we
the
don't register parties and
but how I mean you guys have a role of some sort, right? You have a mailing list. Like what kind of numbers are we talking about realistically
for Lincoln Day?
No, just for active
for the county party
parties, right.
Membership in the county,
right?
Well. And again, we don't register as
that's a tough question. That's a tough question.
There is no number.
Yeah.
So you can look at the voter rolls, and that's one metric.
Right, but then they count me as a Republican, and that's not true.
Well, yeah, all right. So there you go. You can look at the voter rolls. That's one metric. You can look at donors. That's another metric.
Right. Because, I mean, I guess in the question that we're putting in play here, that's the question I guess
there is no number.
Is how many?
You're not going to get a number.
Right. And again, to me,
there are people that call themselves Republican, and they donate more money to the Democrats than they do Republicans.
Man, I figured we'd get at least a half hour in before the Eddie Manish shot came up, but okay.
No, that was not an Eddie Manish shot.
Right.
That was not an Eddie Manish shot.
Okay, all right. My bad.
That bill fits a whole lot more people. And I think WATE had the guy on. They even identified him as a former Republican mayor of the city of Knoxville.
You're right. I jumped to the wrong one. My apologies. But okay, so again, to me,
that's a nonpartisan race.
But to me, I don't care. It's none of my business what you guys do with your party and how you operate your party and what you do as far as fundraisers or events for you and your group. So I don't understand what the stink is. Like, I guess if we're going to go down on the Victor Ashe part of it, because that's who the reference is if we're going to go down that one, he's a former member of the party, or at least he was at some point in elections. He ran as a Republican. That's what I don't know the history that well to know who he is enough, other than I knew he was a mayor here in town.
Well, he was mayor here before I got here, and I don't know how all that works. And again, evidently, it was a nonpartisan race, but he.
But that's the only office. That's the only office he's held in his political history, as far as he hasn't held.
He's been the ambassador to Poland.
Elected office.
I'm not necessarily sure, actually. I don't know.
I mean, that's my question, trying to clarify whether or not he has some level of Republican bona fide, because I have the handbook here somewhere still from the first time you came in.
Well, yeah, funny thing is the party does identify what it means to be a member.
Right.
There are
right, but
membership
again, I guess my point
requirements.
is to say that as the paper or the news has identified him as a Republican, what I'm trying to figure out if there's history that actually identifies as a Republican.
Well, they're just as dumb as he is.
Fair enough. So anyway, so again, assuming that he was a member at some level, or at least he thinks he was a member at some level, I could see where he has an argument against spending or whatever. But if he's not donating, or again, I'm not in the party. It's none of my business. I don't care what you guys do with it. So that's where I stand on it.
So let me just say this real quick. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean
go
to
ahead.
jump in.
You're it.
Victor Ash has not been supportive of our party since I was been chair and since I was involved with Randy. So, I don't necessarily know whether Victor Ash's criticism can be taken valid. I can just tell you that he's not a friend of the Republican Party. If you want to talk Lincoln Day and talk about our expenses and all that, I mean, I'll tell you this right now.
Well, guys, here's the question. So we tried to play the game of similar years. You were chair in 17, right?
No, I've been around since 14, but no, I wasn't chair.
I don't know. See, I don't know the history of these things. That's
Doesn't
my problem. I'm just saying, I don't know if it matters if we're in comparable election cycles or not, but 2020 being the COVID year is a whole different thing. But
sure.
so in 19 or in 18, as far as a net plus to the bottom line of the war chest, was this year's Lincoln Day bigger than prior?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So since I can only speak to 2014. So since 2014, this year's Lincoln Day, the most successful Lincoln Day in regards to money made.
Yeah, I mean, Randy, obviously you're still on our executive board. I mean, we've made about 20,000, right, this year, and that was after expenses. I mean, that's including Charlie Kirk's speaker fee. I mean, we've made.
Oh, we had a lot of expenses.
It was an expensive.
We did.
Yes, it was an expensive dinner, but our profit was beyond what we've seen in the past. I mean,
sure.
we blew it out the water.
Okay, because I mean that was again, sticking on my I don't care part of it, but also. Sometimes when you're doing, you invest
People
in something.
Wanna know.
You invest in something with the intent to return, and if it worked, it worked. So if you guys are happy with it,
hats off to Daniel. It worked.
I mean,
yeah, and I'll say this too. It wasn't, obviously it's a main fundraiser, right? But I'll tell you this too. It's also a little bit of a get out the vote kind of boost too, right? Since we have our city elections, I mean, we've had by far some of the biggest attendance at this thing. 500 plus people showed up. We got so many new donors, so many new contact information. I mean, we grew our email list and our donor list substantially, and these are people that we would categorize as pretty dedicated Republicans, especially since they paid $100, sometimes $250 for a price of the ticket.
Right. Because I was going to ask that what the ticket, because I remember seeing, I saw one of the mailers that had some of the sponsor booths and stuff like that pricing, but I didn't remember what the actual ticket price is. So yeah, okay, so I was right as far as sorry, multitasking. I'm not good at.
No worries. So Daniel's going to fill the gap. Run it down. Basic ticket price.
Ticket price was $100 for general admission. If you wanted to sponsor a table, it was $1,500. And it was $250 for VIP, and we pretty much blew the VIP limit out of the water. So.
Yeah, we did. And $250 if you were a candidate and want to get your name in front of the party.
That's true, and we did to further dedicate that we're supporting our city candidates. We gave a free candidate booth to every single city candidate that we were more or less supporting there, and it was lined up, and people were taking the yard signs and whatever.
And we still made money, and we killed it.
Good. I mean, again, like I said, I don't know. See, I'm trying to talk about this because everybody else is a big stick about it, but I don't. Like I said from the beginning, I don't really care if you guys are happy with it. Whatever.
I mean, it's not even an issue. I mean, it was so successful that it's not even a problem. This was the best Lincoln Day we've had in years.
Okay. Well, congratulations then. That's fantastic. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And your successes in that. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else I had on on the ticker. You think all 5 are you think all 5 are going through the primaries?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. I think one's got problems.
Which one are you thinking?
I mean, I think Murphy's got he's going to have a hard time with the not necessarily part of the job, part of her profile right now.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't know.
Well, that says a lot about society.
I mean,
Really?
you and I talk.
David Hayes, Tommy Murphy,
You and I.
Tommy Smith, Elizabeth Murphy. Really?
I mean, that's my take on it. I'm an amateur here. I'm making it up as I go. So I'm not trying to pretend that I know anything.
I don't have a crystal ball. I don't make predictions. But really,
we'll find out Tuesday.
Yeah. And
there you go.
I'm looking forward to following up on it and following it myself. Trying to get Matt Shears takes the daily breakdown of the early voting, and he's got a little Excel file. He plugs it in, and so it has a little chart, and it's really easy to read.
Sure.
Because I've been my amateur analytics on how much larger early voting has been compared to 17, I think tends to lean in your guys' favor. In my theory on it.
Really?
Yeah. I think I mean, unless we're going to try to pretend that there's
So Matt Shears is giving you information that substantiates your theory that we're kicking their butts?
You're just getting raw data, right? It's just,
right.
Yeah, it's not anything.
I mean,
it's not worse.
I'm sorry, help me out.
Well, his interpretation is that historically the left tends to be more into early voting and absentee voting, where the right tends to be day of election stuff. So higher numbers to him in early voting he sees as a good thing, because the history says that usually that's the case. I don't know these things. My thinking on it is a higher turnout for especially city elections, who are terrible turnout historically. This time, I think that leans to your guys' favor.
I think Matt's scared.
I'll say this: I'm not giving away any war secrets or our interpretation of numbers or our breakdown of precincts. I'm not going to give away any secrets on this, but I'll say this: we're feeling very confident going into Tuesday.
Okay, I haven't been able to talk to Murphy, so again, that doesn't bode well in my opinion of her, because she won't give me the time of day.
Fair enough, I understand.
But
that.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think I mean, 2 of the races don't count conversationally because they're only 2 people anyway, and so really it's Garrett and Clanaris. I don't think Clanaris is going to have an issue at least getting through the primary. We'll see as it goes citywide and that kind of stuff. But 6, I'm kind of on the fence on. I'm 6. I'm kind of leaning towards Harper picking up that. I think Gwen keeps. I think Gwen stays. I think all the incumbents are going to make it through, but I think I'm leaning towards Harper taking 6, at least as the other of the 2 through the primary. That's my primary predictions, people. See how good my amateur guesses are.
You know, here's the best part, Seth, and Daniel can speak to this probably a whole lot better than I can. He's been running races, you know, and playing those numbers. I don't make predictions, and I truly believe to the very fiber of my being, it really is up to the public. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with what you got or not?
Right, and I think that, and again, I think that's part of my reason why a larger turnout tends to infer to me that people are less happy.
It does, and
it's easier
frankly, it doesn't. It goes without saying. The public is fed up.
Right. Well, I think it's it articulates well to, or it's easier to articulate an upset person to get out and get active than it is somebody that's comfortable.
What motivates people to vote?
Right. Which is gross, which is my least favorite part about watching politics, is that we all know that's the game and that's how it works, and so we lean into it. Which again, I get to be the fun guy on the outside and criticize everybody in it, but it's the way it is clearly the way it works. God damn it, this is gonna be one of those nights. I'm sorry, guys. Time out. Yes, sir.
We're a participatory government.
We are.
It's in there. If you scan it, that's the full case. Oh no. No, then it's in the right. Okay, so then it's in it. Shit, fuck. Hold on.
If you need to take care of something, Steph, Seth, go right
I can
ahead.
multitask poorly, and you guys can. This is just somehow. This is
So-
because half my staff's in Vegas right now.
No,
Oh.
no kidding. Tuesday,
Yeah.
go to the polls.
We still live, Seth?
Yeah, we're still on.
Randy, let me ask you this, Randy.
Hey.
Has the GOP talked about in the past getting involved in city elections when you were chair? I mean, was that ever a
absolutely.
discussion?
Absolutely.
What did you
And
find?
we
So,
joke about it
$1.
all the time about Eddie
$1 or
Manis.
so. a
Sure.
canister.
Eddie Manis would have made a great city mayor, far better than King Cannon.
Sure.
Only because he's a somewhat fiscal conservative. He's a smart guy. He's a
I will say
businessman.
42.
Yeah.
He does lean a little left in social issues, but some of the nonsense the city's come up with,
Yeah,
as mayor, he
yeah.
would have been like, I'm a no.
Right.
Apologies again for that. It's just going to be one of those nights, I guess.
It's fine. It's fine with
Sure
me.
show.
Yeah, I know, but it's annoying. One of my my staffers is getting married, so two of the other staffers and my business partner took him to Vegas, and so we have like half our staff is in Vegas right now.
What a great wedding present.
Yeah,
Wow. Daniel's getting married.
I am.
I'm not taking you to Vegas, Daniel. Sorry.
That's fine.
I mean, at some point, I'll have the level of success in this where I can pretend like you work for me because I'm
Oh,
so
there you
good
go.
and there's so many people that listen to me and I can tell you what to do. When we get there, maybe I'll take you to Vegas. But for
sounds
now, at least, no, I mean that's I think like it's fun to it's fun to brag on my work and my employees because I like to brag on my work and my employees. But I think the other part too is like some of those big narratives about the evilness, the evils of capitalism and stuff like that. It's like one of my guys moved back up here to Georgia to work for us, and bought a piece of shit car because he needed a car to get from his apartment to work and stuff like that. Wrecked it, so we bought him a car. He's paying us back for the car, but we helped him buy the car. He didn't have the finances and stuff like that, so we bought him a car. We worked it out, did a whole big thing. We're taking like $50 a paycheck for like a year to help him get a car because he didn't have the credit to do it himself and stuff like that. That's how that's I like my staff and I treat them like I like them, and I am an evil capitalist. And if that is what evil capitalism is, then I am that.
And you're okay with the personal end of this. So I happen to notice, and you didn't send it to me directly, but you were standing in front of your business. You're happy to be back, and
well, that's why I was working today because everybody else is out of town. I usually don't. I haven't worked in the store like scheduled shift in probably a year and a half.
You and I were trying to do something, get together. You're like, I work all day.
I have a day job too. I've not retired into the business. When this starts paying me, I might retire from the day job.
Oh, okay. I'm not busting your stones.
I have three
saying.
jobs. That's what I do. Well,
That's awesome, Seth.
I have two jobs and an expensive hobby. This one.
There you go.
I mean, according to my bookkeeper, from there, this is the IRS considers this a hobby, so I can't start writing shit off yet.
So I don't mean to back up, but I'll say this: for what we paid Charlie Kirk,
20.
was it 20? All right, so we paid Charlie Kirk 20
I mean,
grand.
it'd be really funny if it wasn't 20 because that was the number everybody was throwing around.
Since 2014, I personally have been spending, I don't know, somewhere between $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year to engage in the Knox County Republican Party. I will consider everything I spent gratis for Charlie Kirk's speaking fee. So everybody that pisses, moans, groans, and complains,
Randy paid it out of pocket, everybody.
yeah,
Shut up.
It's paid for. Shut your pie hole.
But again, like, who cares? Why does anybody else care about that?
Well, yeah,
because at the end of the day,
you know why they care, Seth? I'll tell you why they care. You ready, Daniel? I'm sorry.
hold on. Let me. I want to throw a guess out. Hold on. Why they care is that they think somehow it makes a difference. So the reality is the people you could have had. You could have Ben Shapiro come. You could have had Charlie Kirk come. You could have had Governor Lee just stop in for a quick one and him be the official speaker of the night and paid $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, $35,000, $45,000. For the people that care to not like you guys, they're going to make that a thing no matter what it is.
Sure.
And vice versa. It doesn't matter who it is or how it is. They're gonna write it in a way that makes it you guys the bad guys, which you guys don't care because you and your party don't care, obviously, because you had a great time and you raised a bunch of money doing it. And then the other side's gonna do their version of the thing, and they're gonna do that and whatever. It's just it's so insular in concept that you're speaking to yourself, not you guys, but well, you guys are too. But I mean the people that are reading it and are getting upset about it, doesn't matter what you guys do. They're going to find something to be upset about with you guys. And so this is just an easy one to go with.
Sure.
So what's it matter? It's just we're just like they're not going to vote for your candidates anyway. They're not going to support your party anyway. So what does it matter to these people that are getting bent out of shape about it, because they're going to get bent out of shape about everything anyway?
Personally, I think it was a great thing, all the negative press.
That's a fair point.
I wasn't talking about the negative press from the Democrats. I was talking about the negative press from
our own.
From the press?
Yeah, from our own.
That the press was talking about. Our own.
Our own?
Yeah.
Elaborate, please.
I'll say this, we've had a lot of push, right, since I got elected. It's like everything I did or everything our board did was like cutting against the grain for some reason, right? Whether it was getting involved in city elections or doing Lincoln Day or whatever, it just seems like there's a certain group that just, no matter what, Seth, I'm always the bad guy at the end of the day. But I'll tell you this. Whether or not I actually am the bad guy in their eyes, there's going to be no question that when our executive board's first term is done, this party is going to be in a better financial and in a better overall kind of state than it ever was when we picked it up.
Right.
So, and what he means is that we had people that called themselves members of our party throwing stones at Daniel. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? And the press picked up on it. So we went through a whole kerfuffle about, it's not your grandpa's GOP. Well, you know something? In all honesty, the left and the media just globbed on. And it's like, well, yeah, no doubt they globbed on, because it's not your grandpa's press. The press used to be honest. They had integrity. They're lobbing the same stink bombs from the same folks within our own organization that are somehow trying to disparage a new, fresh set of eyes from doing the right thing. The public wants their government to do the right thing. Daniel Herrera is committed to electing public officials willing to do the right thing. And we've got people within our own organization pushing it back against it. It's like, yeah, you look
I would assume,
just like those folks.
But I would assume that was not abnormal prior to that. There's always
this has been going on for years.
Right. There's always little sub factions.
It's not new.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, you didn't win.
Right.
It's been going on, but you didn't win. You didn't prevail. You didn't change it.
Right.
Right now, today, it's changing. This is living proof it's changing.
Right.
Kid you not.
I follow. I mean, again, it's your again. Like, this is what's funny to this is what's funny to me is it's your party. I don't care. I try to jump in the mindset listen, of why I should care.
I'm not asking you to care.
I know.
You. Look.
I mean, I care. I care what candidates you produce. Yes, that I do care about, because those are the candidates that I end up having to choose between.
Sure.
Because of the way the system works, and then I can go down my whole diatribe about how the two-party thing's fucking everything up and blah 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 blah, and that's not really important to do again. But as far as
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, it for me. Then.
You and I want the exact same thing. You know something? You and I have talked about it many times.
True.
I'm telling you right now, Daniel does too. It's not a party thing for him. Yeah, he's the Knox County GOP chair. But I'm going to tell you right now, he wants the same thing you want, same thing I want, better government. Hey, government, let's live within our means, stay out of people's way.
Right.
We don't disagree. And you know something? Matt Shears, no kidding, more often than not, is a reasonable individual, and he wants a better outcome. Right now, we don't have a better outcome because there are too many people still involved that are in it for the wrong reasons. Let's get a better outcome. And
Right.
when we get a better outcome, we're on the right track.
Okay. Again, I don't know where to go from there. Like I like this feels tired to me because
Labor
we have
Day's
done this.
coming.
Labor Day's coming. What's going on Labor Day?
I don't know. You tell me.
Is that like Labor Day's this Monday or next Monday?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
You tell me.
I don't get the day off, so it's not a real Labor Day. So
I see.
yeah, and even if I did get the day off, I do like 5 interviews on the day because that's what I do when I don't have work. so
I'm still going to the office. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it is what it is.
that doesn't
Oh,
run.
yeah, Daniel goes to the office all the time.
Plus, I'm in the alcohol business, and Labor Day is a big sale day for
Yeah,
alcohol,
yeah,
so
of course.
it moves a lot of product.
You don't do any legal work as it relates to alcohol, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No,
So that doesn't boost your business.
it does not. No. I do mostly landlord-tenant property-related stuff. So
Cool. That's on my bucket list. That's my list of things to do. We're going
You want to
property.
become a landlord?
Yeah, going property shopping.
no, good for you.
So,
Best of luck.
You're going to
I
buy
mean-
and put other people in there?
do what?
You're going to get on that gravy train for affordable housing?
No, anything. The less I don't. Whatever it is, if there's some government program that's part of it, I'm going to avoid it at all costs.
I had a guy tell me the other day, oh, there's lots of government money being pumped into that. I'm getting into that. And I'm like, what?
There's some
Why?
couple $100 billion apparently that was in one of the COVID things that was given. All the states got for rental assistance for people.
Yeah,
that
and
lost
Knox County does have some rental
No, he's
assistance.
talking broadband. Separate
Oh.
issue. Never mind.
Who's talking? I'm not talking broadband.
Doesn't ma-
You're trying to get me on a KB because I can bitch about KB if you want. I mean, you know I can do that.
Go ahead. I'll help.
I'm just thinking like, if I have a leaky faucet, I don't bring an electrician in. That's my
Right.
problem with the KB conversation.
Yeah.
Daniel gets it. Come on, Randy, catch up.
No, I mean, I'm there with you.
KUB does not do data. They don't do data. So they're going to get $600 million or 60?
It's a lot of money.
Some ridiculous
Yeah, it's
amount
a
of
lot of money.
funding to add a new portion to their system, not expand what they do, add it to.
So, I had something happen the other day as it related to plumbing, and I fixed it. I didn't call a plumber. Sorry, all you guys out there doing plumbing.
You
trying
hate
to
small
make a living.
businessmen. I hear
No,
you.
I don't. I really don't. I could do
God
it
damn it,
myself.
Randy.
If we can do it ourselves, stop asking government. Really? Seriously. When it comes to KUB, yeah. Government has a finite role. It really does. You know, come on.
Yeah.
Stop asking. We're part of the problem. Stop asking.
I mean, I agree. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like AT&T and Comcast do a great job either, and it's not like they're
That's
free
true.
market playing the game either.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's not a free market.
Right.
That's a government
Right.
regulated
Yeah.
market.
Right. And so we have
Less is more.
we have a confluence of a bunch of people that
Less-
have really awkward interest in how to get this thing done correctly, and then we just have to shuffle out what we get on the other side. I don't know. Maybe this Tesla satellite internet might get rolling, and we can get in on that.
Man, I put my
That'd be
down
fun.
payment for that, man. I'm excited.
For the internet part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was real close to putting a deposit on one of the trucks.
Oh, yeah. Now, look, I thought they were kind of ugly in the beginning. And
I
then
still think they're kind of ugly.
Now I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, it's not that bad.
But I think they're ugly. I think the intent is to be ugly because it's not supposed to be like the cars that are super sleek and whatever. It's
Right,
supposed to be
right.
you can go beat the shit out of this thing and it's going to look the same because it started out looking like a beat up piece of shit. I think that was the premise. And other than the weird like the bed part with the bed cover thing and like weird angle bed thing, that part's just ugly.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought about it real hard. It's only like $250.
What, the down payment?
Yeah.
For
the truck. It was cheap.
Oh, yeah, I think it was about $250
Yeah.
or $500, something like that.
Right, and it's really just to put you on the waiting list to do an actual payment whenever they start producing it. But still, by the time it gets there, somebody else will
Yeah.
buy it from you when it gets to time anyway. So I should have done it, hindsight. But going back to the land and management thing, it's like there's no the wonderful works of our federal government and the Federal Reserve, for that matter, makes holding money stupid right now.
Yeah.
If you have cash, you're an idiot. I mean, that's just the world we live in at this point. And like, as I go, like every time I stop at the bank to deposit a check or to get some cash out or something like that, I just ask the teller, like, hey, what kind of interest rates are we looking at right now?
Yeah.
0.15%.
Look, I'm a big end the Fed guy, man. Like I think quantitative easing is nothing but a scam. So, I'm there with you.
I don't like at least an audit or something, at least so we can actually see how this thing works would be cool.
Good luck with that.
Right, but we're not. Yeah, because it doesn't make me millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I don't get away with what's the word doing a bad job and then I'm too big to fail. Is that the phrase, right?
That's
Seth,
true.
you asking your government to account.
Oh, here's there. Okay, so all right, here's fun little transition. Let's account for 20 years in a foreign country that we didn't actually go to war with, and all the shit that we left there. And see, now this one's a good one because this one's a fun one, and this one was great with Matt when I had Matt in a couple weeks ago. Is you guys are on Trump's side anyway, so that's fine.
I'm laughing because I stopped watching that recording right as you were moving into that, and I missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, because I mean, again,
so let's recap for me.
I mean, the short version of it is I personally I appreciate Biden being very firm in his decision, and we're doing this, and we're going on. We're going to get out. We're going to get out. We're going to get out. It's not been going great, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, Trump started this conversation, and Trump made it okay for Republicans to want to get out of there too. And especially with the media coverage on this, because you guys like to talk about a lot, and I agree with you on the most part, that the media tends to lean left and protect left issues and interests. Not this one. Biden is pulling out of this thing, and the media is doing everything they can to beat the shit out of him for it, and he's holding course. And I appreciate that of him. But again, wherever you stand on the Trump side of things, Trump started this. Trump couldn't pull it off on his own. He succumbed to some of that media pressure and didn't finish it while he was there. But he made it popular for the right to say, let's get the fuck out of Afghanistan. This is stupid. And that's how Biden's getting away with it now. Biden can get away with it now knowing that not just the left, but the right agrees that we need to get out of there. And so no matter what media coverage, no matter how the Pentagon pushes and tries to get him to stay there, he can stand up and say, I know the country is behind me on this. Trump right and my left, whatever you want to phrase it as. And that's probably the best Trump legacy that I'm thinking in short term. We can go in the future and we can look back on the Trump legacy. But for me, as of right now, that is the best thing that Trump did as president, was make it okay for the right to hate that war.
I think there was a growing support of pulling out of Afghanistan, but it was rolling. And I can tell you this: I'm on record. Look, you go through my Facebook and all that. I'm on record of saying we should have gotten out of Afghanistan as early as 2012. When I was on the Ron Paul campaign. I think the idea of nation building has put the United States in a terrible situation of foreign policy.
Right, and as Randy said, are we going to end accounting for the $2 trillion wasted of making a stronger new enemy that isn't the country we were there to help in the first place? Giving we did the exact opposite of what the intent was, and spent trillions of dollars doing it, and this is going to wash through in the next year or so. And it's going to be, at least the war's over, and I'm going to be happy about that. But there's going to be no looking back. There's going to be no generals fired. There's going to be no arrests made for all the different lines of Congresses and shit that happened throughout the history of this war. It's just going to fade off into the sunset. But again, at least the war's over. That's the win. And going from there.
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going back.
Well, I think we will.
So
I think by the end of the decade we're going back.
Did we win? Is it?
I don't think we. No,
is the war over?
I mean, the war never started. It was just a mess, and it was this nation building thing, and we're just going to build. We built a bigger enemy that we may be better at actually directly fighting, because that's what our military is good at. If we're actually fighting a war, but we weren't fighting a war from the beginning.
Yeah. I think you and I are on the same page.
We fight wars differently. So the U.S. has become the world's police officer, if you will. So we've done our level-headed best to give everyone in the entire world the same opportunity we have. People come to our shores routinely. You know, we want a better life. So, in Afghanistan is not the issue. It's not the problem. The method by which or the actions taken to get us out of Afghanistan, I have no issue with. Yeah, I agree with you, Seth. You know, give people the opportunity to have what we have, but it's up to them to see
Right.
it through.
And I mean it was a
nothing wrong with nation building, but insofar as nation maintaining,
right.
Okay,
yeah,
I see what
that's
you're
where
saying.
I draw
I
the
see what
line.
you're saying.
We're here to help. We'll help you out. We'll teach you things. We'll give you some tools to do the job. Now do the job.
If you're not willing,
And if
to
you're not
going to
do the job, we're going to take our toys and go home.
See you, bye.
Yeah, but we didn't even
However-
take our toys this time. We left our toys.
yeah.
there.
How?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So aside from that, we
But I got to push back.
owe the people. We owe the
Go ahead.
people of Afghanistan this. If you want to leave, we're leaving. We're pulling out. And when we pull out, if you're not comfortable with those folks left behind to support you, you can pull out with us. And we didn't do that. We still have status of forces agreements with the Japanese. We have status of forces agreements in Vietnam. We're in countries that we have had battles and wars with, you know, years ago.
Yeah, I mean we're still in Germany.
Yeah,
We still have bases in Germany.
So what we didn't do, or what we failed to do, was recognize or understand that we can leave Afghanistan, but there's a process. There's a method by which we do it, and I think that we fail as a nation, all of us, and we all bear a hand in it.
Right.
We all fail. We failed to recognize that it matters who governs. It matters how we do this. Trump was committed to getting out, and I agree. We needed to leave. It's time for you people to stand up. We've done everything we can. We set you up for success. We're leaving. We're happy to pass the baton.
Right, just
Here we
because
go.
Randy's here and I pull out my old man phrases when Randy's around. It's the lead a horse to water thing, right? That's how it goes.
All that time for you to say one thing. Seth, you summed it up. Thanks, brother.
All right, that's the
Yeah,
show,
I'm an
everybody.
old
Good
man.
night. Thanks for listening.
There you go. Dun-dun-dun.
No, I think it's I think it's tragic what is happening. I think it sucks, but I mean I mean I would go so far as to say we should probably have done it in like 2003. I mean there's realistically I don't think that anybody ever had real intent or drive or wherewithal that they actually thought there was a chance that we were actually going to build a sovereign nation of Afghanistan that was going to take care of themselves.
Well, Afghanistan's history has always
Right.
been, it's if
It
we were
was never going to be a unified nation. We were never capable of making that happen. And if nothing else, in the good old-fashioned American stubbornness, we're going to be the ones that can do it when nobody else could. And look what it got us. And so, anyway, you got to take the ends off of it, dude.
Yeah, I get that. So Daniel, tell
Again,
us,
see, this is
tell
why I
us-
make old man jokes. I got Randy Pace vaping, everybody.
Well, we're trying.
Well, I'm not going to let him smoke
It
in my
tastes
house.
like
so.
coffee.
Good. I hope you like it.
So talk. You know something? I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Me?
Yeah, no, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel, on the
Talk
spot.
to Daniel about schools.
Daniel, talk to me about schools.
So
Hard-hitting questions like that.
So I'll say this about schools. It's interesting, right? All these mask mandate kind of things, and the legalities behind it, and also the legalities behind the. I was talking. Oh man, I'm jumping all over the place now. I would like to come back to the legalities of the city voting. I know you said earlier to that the primary and then everybody votes citywide.
The city elections are stupid. Yes.
Yeah, I do think there is a constitutional argument there that could end up in federal court, by the way. But going back to the school stuff, I mean, looking at these mandates and stuff that we have for masks coming out, which I think we're even maybe potentially we're going to have a vaccine mandate, at some point.
I think it's on the
I don't know how far on the agenda it is.
I think I think for students, eventually, I think for students it will be for sure. Whether we're gonna have a full public one, that's one's a little bit less.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be more of a slippery slope than anything. But yeah, I think you'll probably see something come out of the schools. If you see anything, it'll come out of the schools first, and then that's gonna be kind of like a test. But I mean, I imagine there's gonna be a bunch of litigation that comes out of that as well. So.
Right. I mean, okay, so because I'm an equal opportunity party hater, I got on the Knox Dems the other day because they did a post on. They basically they laid the school mess on Jacob's feet, and that was their post. And I was like, can somebody find me in the county charter where Mayor Jacobs has any control over what goes on in the schools?
I don't think he does.
He doesn't.
Yeah, it's just look. I saw the same post. It's rhetoric, right? It's party rhetoric. That's all it is.
And so like that one really upset me because I was like, you guys should be better than that. And that goes for both parties. You should be better than misidentifying it because whoever started arguing with me on it, I hammered a good one home. I was proud of myself because I said, back last year when we were mask mandated, were you guys celebrating Jacobs for his mask mandate that he put in the schools? No, because he didn't fucking do it.
I mean, I sued the county over it. So, I was that lawsuit. So, no, I wasn't celebrating it. But I do think that the mayor has good leadership. But, look, I mean, that's the role of the courts as well, right? Is hey, we're here to do a checks and balances. Unfortunately, our lawsuit didn't really make it because it got mooted out because of Bill Lee's rescinding of the executive orders. But I think had that gone forward, I think we would have gotten a victory. I think it would have come out to be unconstitutional.
The masking in public part?
Yes.
Okay. But not the schools part.
The school, so I think the school part probably could be the same argument. Is what legal authority does the state have to mandate that? And I don't think there is. And the only reason why Governor Lee was able to get away with it was because he used the emergency powers.
Right.
It was the emergency executive orders that kind of gave him the authority. I don't even think that emergency powers even extended that far.
Right. It wasn't Lee. It was what was it? Who was it? The governor of New Jersey or something like that was on CNN. It's like we weren't thinking about civil rights when we were doing these mandates.
Murphy,
that's right.
Was that yeah? It's like you said that out loud, like two people. I can understand if that was the thought. Like you actually just said, I don't care about civil rights. We're doing this mass thing, or we're doing whatever the different protocols they were doing in New Jersey. I understand that was what your thinking was, but you don't go on TV and say that out loud. That's just the dumbest. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Like it's I go back and forth constantly on this. Like I got the kids at schools, and I think the reality of the school part of the conversation that's really hot right now is that, and I think it goes for the public mask mandates and stuff too, is like there is a strong, fairly small in gross numbers group that has side A. There's a small, fairly strong and loud but not huge number group on B, and then there's the rest of us that are C, that are just somewhere in the middle, that are just trying to figure out how to get to work or how to go through their day and be who they're going to be for today and tomorrow and stuff like that.
And that's like 9%.
And they're just living it. And
so you're C.
I would put myself in C for sure.
So yeah, like you said, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you do. Go ahead.
No, I really don't.
This is what I do, is be on the spot. Go.
Seth, say, Randy, we're not going to talk about that, and I'll be done with it.
Okay.
And I'll talk about, beating dogs.
I don't even know what we're talking about, so go.
So, you have kids in school.
I do.
You send your kids to school with the mask?
I told them it was up to them. If they want to do it, they could.
Follow the rules. If the school says do this, you do it.
If they re-put it in, I'll put them back in their mask. I don't think it's the end of the world for them.
So
it's not great.
We're always almost in agreement. I agree with you. If you have the authority to do that, I'll follow the rules. If I don't like the rules, I'll engage in the legal process to change it.
Right.
I'm good. Isn't that the way it's supposed to work? Why do we do all this other nonsense? Really,
right.
Seriously.
Right, but again, I think the whole the big one to me through the process was the lack of that, the lack of there are processes for going about doing these things, and Again, I think it's generally what has gotten me deeper into this is going on that Knox Dems tweet or post too, is that it is grossly apparent to me how little people understand who and where is what. So whatever the issue is at hand, who is the body that actually controls that issue? Who actually has authority? The school board being a huge one specifically as well, like especially with the current one. A lot of it's not even the school board's authority. Most of it comes out of the state legislature.
Right.
Yep. Nobody understands how much the state. Because it is my opinion at this point.
And they don't want you to understand.
Right.
They don't want you to
I agree,
that.
but I think the school board and at some level the county commission and the city council as well are just kind of a show to say, here's your local government, everybody. They don't really get to do much because the state's the one that really does all the stuff.
The problem
we have a lot of authority at the state level.
The state does
exercise it.
The state does. The city and the county and the school board specifically don't.
No, we do. We don't exercise it. We allow the state to run roughshod.
The problem I have, Seth, is the emergency powers,
right,
and how it just overruns everything.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just the conservative or somewhat libertarian in me. I hate that the government can go, Seth, you can't
lock your door.
You can't lock your door today.
Right.
And then you're like, well, that's illegal. Well, now it's an emergency, so now you can't lock your door. What's why?
Right. Is that since it's under emergency, do it like did either of you guys happen to catch the ACLU episode I did?
No.
It's pretty fascinating.
Okay.
I think
Wait, you had the ACLU on?
I had an ACLU policy guy from Nashville. He called in. We talked about they're working with Amelia in the city, which I know you guys aren't a big fan of, but whatever. That KPD and KPD's use of surveillance technologies on us here in the city at least, and some of the things that the ACLU has issues with, and they're trying to put a thing in place to try to at least have some council oversight on KPD's use of some of this different technology, and it is pretty crazy.
I'm gonna say that right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. As an attorney who deals with criminal law, okay, and as someone, Seth, I would encourage you to go down to LMU, right, or UT. I would encourage you to go to LMU, law school. Go sit down in a criminal procedure class, which is your warrants and all that kind of stuff, and you will find very quickly that the Fourth Amendment is dead.
Right. No, I mean I think I don't need to go to LMU to know that one. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole hard on it as far as drone usage and stuff like that, and what they can and can't do. Like the crazy one that ACLU brought up was that the Ring doorbell cameras.
Oh yeah.
KPD has an agreement with Amazon.
Absolutely.
That's fucking nuts.
I have a Ring doorbell in Carnes, and it tells me that the Knox County Sheriff's Office is getting the information. Or
Sheriff's Office gets through. We see the ACLU is specifically on KPD, so I didn't know what the sheriff.
Oh, okay. If I can screenshot, I'll shoot it over to you.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested to see that.
I don't have a Ring doorbell
because then, but again, that goes to one of those things like where the sheriff's not going to do anything about it. If we go to the sheriff and pitch fit, we can try to make it an election issue, but that's
sure, yeah.
On the list of things that people vote for sheriffs on. That's going to not be high on the list. And well, if the sheriff's not going to change it, who does? Because then you have to go state level to chase it down to get anything that on that level changed, just because of the way the sheriff sits in the hierarchy of things.
Don't buy a Ring doorbell.
Yeah. And that goes to a more of a central issue, right? We've seen companies change policy based on public pressure. Happens all the time, right? So your fastest way to get that changed is to have Ring change their policy.
Right.
Other than that, you're gonna now you're asking the state to step in. Right.
Well, we have one too, and I don't remember that part in the. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, Dark, so I don't go read the fine print because I don't think that way. Where I'm assuming that you are more likely to catch that because that is something that you would actually find interesting reading. Where I'm just going to go blah for 20 minutes of 15 pages of all the.
I mean,
and that's what your government's hoping for.
Right.
So 1,300 pieces of legislation every cycle.
Right.
Every legislative. It's housekeeping. We're not changing anything. It's just we're catching up and we're fixing the laws we broke before. Hold on. Time out. No individual, no single citizen in the state of Tennessee has the time, inclination, background, understanding, or ability to vet or look at what your state legislature does every session.
Oh, I tried to do it.
There ought not be a law. There are lobbyists that go out there and do this for individual issues and threaten public officials and tell them, if you don't vote for this, if you don't change this, if you don't do what we tell you, you're not going to get reelected.
Right.
And they cave.
Right.
This is a problem.
I agree.
We self-govern. Well, hello, folks. Start self-governing.
Right. Because I tried to do a session review episode with Massey, and we got a handful into it. I was like, I'm not going to take 6 hours to try to go through all this stuff. And I mean,
if you want to change your mind, you are.
Right. But I mean, but for her sake, but like, cause I didn't prep, like, you know me, I don't prep for shows. She emailed me her like, not redacted version, like her like summary version, just this, like, each one was just summary, it wasn't the full bill or whatever. And so like, she emailed it to me, I got her on the phone, I opened the email. So like, I had zero inkling of how huge this thing was going to be before we got started. And so we went through for a little bit, and I let her do some of the highlights that she was proud of and stuff like that. But
so who fed her all that information?
Well, I mean, one of the specifics, and actually I'm not getting past, was KPD asked for one of the drone things, and that's one of the things that got me down the rabbit hole.
You and I have talked about that,
right.
Drones before. Again, Seth, I'm telling you, brother, it matters. Get off your asses. It matters. What you're doing is the right thing. You're asking all the right questions. More often than not, you get some standard pat answer. I'm telling you right now. So Daniel and I met 3 years ago. Young guy, fresh face. I'm looking to improve the county Republican Party. I'm committed to teaching the public what it means that their vote matters. It matters who governs. And I'm telling you right now, this guy gets it. He understands it. And he's committed to it. It's important that you keep doing this show. You keep doing what you're doing.
I have too much fun. I can't quit.
You know something?
That's awesome.
I don't think you're gonna quit.
Seth, just remember us when you were on Sirius Radio or something.
Yeah, right.
Just remember us.
When you're nationwide.
No, there's no good. That's no fun.
When you're governor,
that's antithetical to my mission statement.
When you're the governor of Tennessee, I want you.
No,
to reach
I can't run
back.
for office now because it'd be a conflict of interest with my podcast. I can't do the Blackburn podcast. I think it's fucking awful. Have you tried that? Have you listened to it?
No.
Jesus Christ. Marsha, stick to home ec or whatever it is you went to college for, because this is not. Podcasting is not your forte, ma'am.
You see, nothing. So, no kidding. When you're governor of the great state of Tennessee, you remember Daniel and Randy.
Well, I'll have to, because I'll have to come through you guys, because I'll have to run as a Republican if I have a shot to win it. But
how's that work?
That's not true. Governor has gone back and forth a couple times. It's not fair. I'm not bona fide. I can't be a Republican.
No, wait. I don't agree. Don't pull a petition, run as an R. If you're not.
When's the last time an independent won a major seat in the state of Tennessee?
You said you're not a party guy. Don't pull the petition as an R. I won't support you.
I wouldn't support me either. That's why I'm not going to do it. I'm saying, when's the last time? What's the highest seat in the state of Tennessee that an independent holds right now? Are there any?
Couldn't even tell you.
Are there any state senators? Are there any state house members that are independents?
I don't think so. I think everyone's party affiliated.
I think the highest seat is mayor, because Knox County has nonpartisan races, even though the former city mayor was a Republican, or that's what he called himself. That's what the press called him, and they reached out to him and asked for his comments as it relates to the party.
Now, if we would have shit on the media, which I'm totally game with, can
we do that, Daniel?
The reporting,
can we dump on them?
The reporting on the on Charlie Kirk getting your guys' mailing list without even reaching out to you guys at any point. I assume they, for fun's sake, maybe they tried to reach out to Charlie Kirk's team. and ask him.
I didn't get a text or a phone call. Janice, who was our treasurer, who was 100% over this list, they did not leave in house, man. I don't know where that like comment even came from, like because it just wasn't.
I do. I'll tell you where it came from, Daniel.
It's not true.
Daniel,
I mean, it's a
came from
lie.
Sandra Clark.
Oh,
it came from Sandra Clark. She used to be, I don't know, she used to report for somebody. She used to be an elected official at some point. She is a self-proclaimed Republican. I'm sorry. As far as I know, Sandra Clark, who runs Knox TN today, is not a Republican. She has not, since 2014, made any effort to engage in the Republican Party. You can be a regular Republican voter and support people like Eddie Manis, Victor Ashe, whomever. That doesn't make you a member of the Republican Party.
Right, I agree, and we've talked about that, and I think that's especially with the lack of registering to a party as a voter in the state of Tennessee. Prior to our first show together, I don't think that thought process hit to me.
So I believe the TN Republican Party has put forward. Hopefully, the TN legislature will take it up next session. The issue of closing party primaries.
Right.
You have to be a member of the party. And then, in addition to that, I think they're taking up the issue of making school board
partisan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. School board elections partisan. Stop lying to the public. Stop telling people, "Oh, I'm not a conservative. I believe in anything goes." But
I mean, okay, so
vote for me because
here's my pushback on it. I don't want to close primaries because I'm not going to register with the party, but I still want to be able to go primary vote, and I understand the reasonings behind.
But
why
you can
it should
still
be.
vote in a general election. You
I agree.
still have a choice.
Sorta.
No, it's not sort of.
Yeah,
you
it's sorta.
How's it sort of?
Because, okay, sticking with the Eddie Manis one, Eddie Manis Gina, the Eddie Manis Gina primary. Not that my vote would have made the difference in the conversation, but whomever of those candidates that of the three candidates that I had prior. Realistically, even though for some reason the Democrats thought that Virginia had a chance, which turned out to be not very true, but realistically, in District 18, when's the last time we didn't have a Republican in this District 18 House seat?
But hold on, you're backing, and again, we've had this conversation. You're backing it up to the point where you want to dictate who the Republican Party names.
No, I want to dictate who holds the seat.
Ah, there you go.
And,
so do I. And we call those.
If I want a seat that always
general elections. We call those general elections.
But for a number of seats in the state of Tennessee, it's going to be whoever the actual election is the primary, not the general. That's a fact.
But that's, I mean, at the same time, that comes off voter patterns too. Like Anderson County or Sevier County or Blount County, I mean, they're going to vote Republican, right? That's just the demographic that's there.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have a Republican. That's your choice, you know? I get what you're saying.
But, right, it's which one of the Republicans that I want to actually win the seat, or which one of the people that want the R next to their name. Again, we can make fun of the Eddie complication thing. Again, whatever. And again, it's not my party, but the idea that I'm stuck with the choices that are given to me at this point. Anytime.
No, you're not. You can
always write yourself.
You're never stuck. You're never stuck.
I do need to start registering as a write-in candidate for every possible seat in every possible election, because that was fun. Carrie Keeling was a really fun interview. If you guys, it's a way old one. She was a write-in against Zachary.
Okay.
Because nobody was running against him, and I mean it's a write-in, so it's a flop anyway. And Zachary had a pretty good hold of whatever, but. She came on and talked about the process of write-ins, because it's like I didn't think about it. Like I just figure if we all write Peyton Manning in, Peyton Manning's winning the seat. And it's like, well, Peyton Manning doesn't live it. He's not allowed to run for the seat. He doesn't want to run for the seat, so we can't just force somebody into the seat because we all agreed to write him in. They actually have to register to be a write-in candidate or whatever. And so I thought makes total sense. Never put thought to it before I had the conversation with her. That was a really fun interview with her. Because it was more of a process conversation.
Yes.
It was a little bit about some of her stances and what she wanted to do, but most of it ended up being just like, so how's this work? Oh, okay, so that makes sense. Why would you do that? Like, she was talking about how, like, there's a section on the form or whatever that you have to do every possible spelling that you can think of for your name. Because if people misspell your name writing you in,
I didn't know
and it's
that.
not on the list.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, her name's Carrie. I think she spells it Kari. But you could do, like, Carry and all the different versions you could spell Carrie. And so if it's not on the list of possible misspellings, it doesn't count as a vote.
In the state of New Jersey, if you don't spell it exactly right, it doesn't count.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Tennessee gives you the
Gives some
option to
leeway,
put
yeah.
other spellings in, but it still has to be one that you came up with.
Back to the school boards. If we had, if we did a better job teaching our kids to read and write, and
Sure.
less time teaching them to do something else,
I mean,
we wouldn't have that.
okay,
issue.
so what would what would be the Republican platform for a school board race? If I were to run for District 4 in the school board, and I wanted to run as a Republican, what are top policy items that the Republican Party would want to push in a school board race?
So running for school board and being a Republican are two entirely different things. The responsibility of the party and the responsibility of the school board, two entirely different things. If you, as a member of the Republican Party, want to run for school board, the party would certainly support you. But I think that's part of the problem. The school board itself, the majority of its members nationwide, don't understand their role or their responsibility. And we get to that, hey, we're golden. What is making school board races nonpartisan do? It tells people that there's an organization out there willing to educate, to monitor, to check and make sure that the people running for those seats understand what they're engaging in. They're not engaging in social engineering. They're not engaging.
So the premise being that the party is there to.
The party there is the party's really its only goal is to elect Republicans. That's
the
it.
best and brightest. We're looking for
Right, but what you were just saying was that
willing and capable of doing the job.
Right, but the capable part being they have the fortitude to do the job, but they are also capable of understanding what is within the bounds of the actual job.
Right, exactly.
Because I think that's what
Yes.
I think that premise is lacking. I don't know if it's with or without the partisanship part, because I think that's one of the premises that is lacking across the board. And I think what the problem is that we don't know any better as the constituency on what the job is.
And that's something that Sandra Clark and Victor Ashe have played into and perpetuated.
Right, I think that's
for years.
Right,
they want people to believe just because we said so, they're the best.
Right, I think
they're not.
I think that is one of the issues, that the media is not pulling their weight and saying when candidate A says something on some speech that has nothing to do with the job, that is our job as media, and I don't really kind of put myself in the fold, but that is the job of media to say, this is what the person said. That is not within the. That is not with what, like, I always make the analogy is like, we, the voting public, are hiring managers, and we don't know what job we're hiring for. We know the title, but we don't know what the job actually does.
Right.
And so how are we told to, how are we to inspect if we don't know what we're inspecting?
Don't inspect. Well, how do I know? Well, because we have laws, we have rules. Is there a guidebook to run for school board? No. If you're a teacher, if you buy into everything that's been done for the past 20 years in academia, you're a shoo-in. And you ingratiate yourself to the left. Now, if you're concerned about the end product, children actually learning, the financial resources required to run that organization, you're out. Well, that's a problem. When 99% of your organization is controlled by one side, by one party, by one mindset, what's your end product look like? Well,
right. And I get into multiple arguments a week at least on it. We all agree that there's an issue with the way schools are working, with what schools are doing, with what we were producing out of schools. And I don't hear a lot of solution talk. I only hear one solution talk, and that's just hey, get the checkbook out. That's the only solution. We need
pretty much.
We need to pay teachers more.
Yeah.
We need better facilities. We need more stuff. We need more.
I agree. We need to pay teachers more. We need to pay administration less. We need to eliminate the federal and state government's reach into education.
That one I like a lot. I like that.
Absolutely.
I think
we need to reduce the cost of education.
Yeah.
The majority of cost of education is administration, and we don't need it.
And we don't have to
We
consistently.
know how to teach children.
We don't have to jam college down everyone's throat.
right, and I think the tide's changed on that one.
I think it started to
in
change,
a lot
yeah.
of levels. I think there's been more emphasis on trade schools and stuff like that. But I think we're starting. I think we start to. I think one of the things that I have an issue with is I think there's no incentive to start specializing in the K through 12 program, other than you're going to college or you're not. That's the only kind of split that kind of happens in early high school.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of other models around the world. Germany's a specific. I know. I think it's in what we would call freshman year, maybe even 8th grade. That's when the split and
career.
right, and you're going very specifically. It's not I'm going to college or I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm going this way and this part of this way and this part of this way, and your whole curriculum shifts towards that thing instead of spending 4 more years on calculus that you're going to do nothing on because that's not where you want to be in life.
The Department of Education has a very entrenched reach, even in our local boards.
Right. And I like that's to me like Jennifer Owen on earlier this week. That was like Governor Lee's specific aside, whatever. But that his little mandate thing that came out is so antithetical to what I assumed he was supposed to be doing on his platform as a governor. Is local, do your thing. And yes, I like that. Let's do that. Well, local, you're not doing the thing that I want you to do, so I'm going to take it back.
I guess I can.
There ought to be a law. I'm going to pass a law. I'm going to do something to keep you from doing your thing.
Right, and that's what he did. He threw that mandate out and get this weird opt-out mess, and now nobody knows what to do or who has the authority to do what.
I get what you're saying, and trust me, as someone who is, I believe that the local government should have the most say, right? I mean, that's the most. I don't want to say intimate, but that's the most. I guess that's the closest branch of government that you're going to have.
Right. No, I think intimate's the right word. I mean, I've been at this for a year and a half. And at least for me in my districts, I've talked to everybody I wanted to. Mm-hmm. I did email some of. I did try to get a hold of the Haggerty campaign as well as the Marsh's campaign, not Marsh's campaign. Marquita.
Okay.
I tried to get a hold of their campaigns. And working my way up the hill, but I couldn't get them. And obviously, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not complaining that they didn't give me the time of day. I've got a small podcast in Knoxville, and my focus is Knoxville, Knox County. But, as far as accessibility, and I think, like I said, I think intimate was the right word. It's like, I can call Kyle Ward, because he's my commissioner, and I can actually talk to Kyle Ward. He might not answer it immediately, but he'll call me back. And it's not because I do the podcast. It's because he's my commissioner.
Right.
And so when things that he should have control over, I can address to him instead of I have to go through, Manus or Massey, which I have gotten to talk to them too, but they are a little bit longer. It's a little bit more time. It's a little bit harder for me to get time and space to talk to them. And it just gets more difficult the further away we get.
Yeah. I'll say this too, but I'll say this about our state reps. They tend to be easier to communicate with because when I was in New Jersey, right, and I wanted to talk to a state representative, it was like talking to the president of the United States.
Right.
You just could not connect with him.
Right, and that whole thing to say is that I've had Massey on a couple times, I've had Manus on a couple times, I've had Gloria Johnson on, I've had a bunch of different people on. They are accessible, but if I'm going to grade them on accessibility, the higher the level is, the less accessible they become.
And that's fair criticism.
Right.
I think that's fair.
And but again, it's like, well, who should be making decisions on X, Y, or Z? The people that are accessible is what makes sense,
right?
To get out of some of the messes. Because I mean, like Knox County is not Anderson County. Knox County is not Roane County. Knox County sure as shit ain't Davidson or Shelby County.
At the same time, though, I'm gonna, and I guess we can have a conversation about this. The local government sometimes will extend its reach. I mean, if you looked at the Board of Health, right, the Knox County Board of Health was attempting to gain authority to govern and mandate surrounding counties. All right, can you imagine living in Sevier County, and there's a mandate from Knox County telling you how to live your life in Sevier County? You know?
I don't know, but if you break it down a little bit, though, at least it's Knox County is helping us as a neighbor, where it's mandates coming out of Nashville.
I don't know. See, I get what you're saying.
I mean, it is at least more local than what Blount County was working under prior to
me,
Knox County's ask. And I agree. I think that ask was fucked up. But I think there is, if the conversation is about trying to keep things as local as possible,
sure,
Knox County's health department is more local to Blount County than the state health department is.
To me, that comparison to me is more like, because they're separate sovereigns, right? The counties are separate sovereigns. They're separate, governments. It's like the state of North Carolina mandating the state of Tennessee to do something. You know, in my opinion, it is such an overreach that's a comparison I see it as.
Right. I get it. I follow what you're saying, but that would be comparable to it's North Carolina trying to step in on something that DC is trying to force on the Southeast in general.
Fair enough.
But okay, so we want to go back and make fun of the city election and how they work.
We can.
We've teased it a couple.
You want to?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to. It's just it's pretty simple.
I'm all in.
It's stupid.
So I'll say this. You know, I had a good conversation with a few other attorneys and my fiance. We sometimes shoot philosophical questions, kind of just to see. You know, the federal law says that when you're represented by a district, right, you have it, and this is case law. It's one vote, one voice. Okay, so when you are voting, if you live in one district,
that's a novel idea,
and you're voting to pick the representative from other districts too, that kind of cuts against that law. You know, I think there would be a good lawsuit if grab
me one of those too, please. There, ready?
I think it would be a good lawsuit, and I think it could go far if a candidate were to win his primary, okay, and in the general loses overall citywide, but wins his actual district and doesn't get elected.
Thank you, sir.
I think that's.
That was Seema's seat last in 17.
I think you can take that to federal court. You know,
I think it's a weird thing, and one of the things that I learned, because I learned things from doing the show, is that
she ran against an attorney.
Yeah.
There was the whole what's it called when you own some land in a
property qualified.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to me, and I get it, but it's also an interesting one to me. Like that popped in my head when you're saying the one vote, one voice thing.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, I'm a county resident. I'm not a city resident anyway, so I don't get to vote in any of this debacle. But if I own the building that my business was in instead of renting it from my landlord, I could, and I'd be voting in District 3. I could vote for Seema.
Or
Nick.
James. Or Nick.
Or whoever. Yeah, whoever.
Sip Arrow. I can say it right. I struggled with it. No, he said it's like Arrow.
Did he?
Yeah, he said on the show, because maybe I don't know. I screwed it up like 15.
He's moving forward. Never mind. What do I care? It's not a real primary.
All right, so in some like it isn't a real primary, I agree, but in some of the just something like the analytical of like kind of watching this thing of what to expect is, does it matter if you're a Nick and a Seema looking at a primary? Like, is primary numbers, does that mean anything to a candidate in a race like this?
I don't
when
think
it's not really a functional primary?
Not in the primary, because in the city race, everybody.
Right. If you only have two, both are going on. Like, does it, like, I don't know. Like, I'd be curious if I was, you know.
Aside from the fact that there's only two.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, if I were Kim Smith out here in District 2, am I even bothering to look at the turnout for my primary?
Maybe. It's possible if you want to see how.
I mean, I think you're going to look at it. I'm just saying, but like you look at it thinking like, oh, that's bad or that's good. That's
to some extent, right? You're going to look at your precinct to see how it's turned out, and if it's not competitive, are they actually showing up? I mean, that's where I think where you were hitting on earlier, where why are more people voting this time with less choices, right?
Right.
I don't know. Let's find out. I mean, we will find out.
Right. And I think if I remember correctly, it was the District 1 early voting location was the biggest turnout as far as the locations for earlies.
Well, let's be honest. Left and right is fed up.
Right.
They're just fed up. So, a smart cat would campaign on, I'm not them.
Right.
Well, we did that. And it worked, and now we're doing something else. Honestly, you know who's going to win going forward? Smartest guy in the room. And the more you know about what's wrong with your government, what's wrong with the seat you're seeking, the more you know about what's right.
All right, I got to put a poke in here
your seat needs to be doing.
Because the smartest guy in the room, in your guys' opinion, hasn't been in the room in a lot of the forums.
You're talking about the League of Women?
What forums?
Yeah.
These are the jokes, people. Come on,
What
work with
forums?
me.
Yeah, I was like, sorry about that.
Forums? I don't know what you're.
I mean, there were a
talking
handful.
about.
There was more. There was a couple of like district-specific ones as well.
So I'll say this, having spoken to the candidates and stuff like that, they are more focused on getting out the vote and identifying voters instead of taking an hour or two to speak to a room. I mean, and I'll say
or
that,
speak to me for that matter.
Oh, I guess
Murphy.
Yeah.
Shame on her.
And Hayes for that matter. I can't get either of them. District 1 is just I can't get anybody from District 1. I've had Tommy on as a counselor. I haven't had him as a candidate yet. That's another interesting thing on District 1 is Tommy's never been elected before. And I don't know how many people know that.
You said it, not me.
I mean, he hasn't been. He was appointed by the city when Welch got pulled into the mayor's office. I know things, not a lot, but
hired by the mayor's office.
I guess
so
whatever
she
the
left $100,000 job to take another $100,000 job.
City council doesn't get city council gets paid like $17,000.
No, I'm talking about. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
Never
I don't
mind.
know things.
I'm
Teach
sorry.
me.
No.
Educate me on stuff.
It's another show. I'll come back.
Well, fine. If you don't want to talk about that, like we want to go back to baseball. I don't really want to talk about the baseball stadium thing. It's happening.
Baseball.
My
Something happened with baseball. We play baseball still.
My standard. People still watch it too, which is weird. But my standard
is that still a pro sport?
I mean, it's anyway.
My
standard joke is that
I heard Knoxville wanted to bring baseball.
We have
back.
a soccer team coming too. That's interesting.
Soccer, baseball.
Okay.
Really?
I just like, but my bottom line is that the reasonable rent is a joke. That $1 million a year is a joke.
We can't hire people to work in restaurants, service industries, but we're going to bring in baseball because everybody's going to come watch.
And it's going to make 700 and something jobs. I can't remember what the report said.
We're going to create more service jobs
that nobody wants to work. That's a valid point. I mean,
I swear, if you just throw out big numbers, I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I think it's interesting.
We're going to make this.
I think it's interesting. I think it's. I like I said. I think it's. I have started referring to it as Thanos. It is inevitable. It's not a conversation about if it's happening. It's specifically how.
Yeah.
It's just specifically how this is going to break down. Don't make that noise and not follow it up with some breaking news here.
It's no breaking news. Are we done yet? Has it happened yet?
No.
Show me the money.
That's why you use the phrase inevitable.
Inevitable, yeah.
Inevitable is it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Okay. Well, tell me, please expand upon the thought process.
Okay.
Tell me why you're not so sure.
Why would we create more government in the way of, and I realize we've already appointed a sports authority. We've created another layer of government. For what purpose? To continue to fleece the public?
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with your assessment of the fleece the public phrase, but I don't hear. What's the word I'm thinking of here? I don't see
$13.5 million from the state.
I don't see
$13.5 million to
I'm not seeing
the pot.
I'm not seeing any significant public pushback on it.
Well, and you won't because the media is in the tank because they're drawing revenue from the people that are going to benefit from this, and it's not the public.
I mean, I understand where you sit on it, but are you're giving me the impression that you have a groundswell of people that you have spoken to that feel like it's a problem?
Well, no, actually. So right now, they are not putting this to the public. If they put it to the public, it would fail. This is going to fall to city and county elected officials. And I would caution any current and future city and or county elected official about what they do with the public's trust. And so do I believe it's a done deal? Like I said, $13.5 million from the state to sweeten the pot. It's hard to get over that. It really is. Randy Boyd has spent all his political capital to line his pockets. He had the money to make this go without government involvement. All he needed was government assistance or government to get out of his way and help him through the regulatory mess.
Right.
To
all the
get
permitting.
it done.
Right.
Well, he didn't do that. Why didn't he do that? His words, not mine. It's not economically viable. Well, if it's not economically viable for him, how is it economically viable for the public?
Right.
It's not. Well, we got $13.5 million from the state. Well, that's still the public's fund.
Right. And theoretically,
again, like I said, I would simply caution anyone that supports this going forward to check themselves. Pay the public first. Don't take it out of our pocket. Take it out of their pocket.
Right. And again, the principles I don't disagree with. I just, as I've watched it and talked to people about it and stuff like that, I just don't feel like there's enough people that would make it an electability issue in the future. Unless it goes in and fails immediately, like between, a Kyle Ward, for example, approves it, and because he's not up on the ballot till 24?
Yeah, he was just recently.
If he runs it
right,
now.
right. But so he's not up until 24, unless in that tiny window the whole project tanks. I don't think it'd be an electable issue by 24 if he runs again. I don't think it'd be an issue that people are going to be that. Unless it specifically tanks, the baseball team never even actually plays a game in there because they don't get it finished in time, and he decides to extend the lease out there, or something crazy like that. I don't see that being an electable issue. I don't disagree with you. It's my same argument with pot. Like, I think pot in the state of Tennessee, by an overwhelmingly majority, is favorable. People want legal weed in Tennessee, but it's not politically advantageous for anybody to make it a thing.
Want in one hand. So I'm not against baseball. I'm not. I'm happy to see baseball come back to the city of Knoxville.
I agree, but it's a political capital game. It's a political capital game. Is this going to be something that's going to get me elected or keep me from getting elected in the future? And realistically, I don't think anybody who will get to make a decision on this baseball project is going to see that this project's not going to bear fruit or be a failed crop by the time the next election comes up.
So you're making my point. It matters who governs.
Okay.
Stop electing people. Hello, anybody listening to this show, stop electing people that are giving away tax dollars for this nonsense. And this is, it's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen this election cycle. It may not happen the next one. May not happen the one after that. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to fix it overnight. Stop electing people that would do this. You need to point back to this in 20 years and go, see how bad this was? See what these people did, these well-intended people did? This was not a good idea. and we had every indication prior to making the decision it was not a good idea, but we made it anyway. And we made it because, there were other forces at play. Our government is designed and exists to serve our interests. Only our interests, not theirs. Not special, our interests.
Right. Well, semantics, it was designed, and it did exist. The design has changed significantly over time. Because I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. I think it is, whether it is intentionally complicated or whether it's a couple of centuries of layers upon layers, it's super complicated. It's super hard for the normal Joe to keep up with how these things are working and who's doing what and how and what and where and why.
If
and all
I
that.
can do it, anyone can.
And the people that know how to do it and know how to work through it can kind of get away with stuff because nobody gets to really pay attention because nobody has time and energy to figure out how to pay attention.
Yeah,
and
hits it right on the head.
And I think it's and so if you are the person who is capable and has a position to get to weave through it and you know what you're doing, what possible motivation would you have to fix it? Because it lets you be what you want to be and do what you want to do because nobody can really see you doing it. Why would you?
I can't fix it. I've said my piece. I can't fix it. I'm one guy.
Other than being a good public servant, there is none.
Right. And I think, I think there are some out there currently, and I think hopefully there's more betters in the future, but it seems like the machine spits up, chews them up and spits them out and turns them into another layer of the game. Going back to, the state, like you answer to a lobbyist, you don't answer to your constituents, that kind of stuff. That's the layers of the game at play that most of us don't get to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's a lack of intestinal fortitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of them. Not many of them have it, and it's like then the question would be to why? Because I think you're right. I think most people get into it and they start local, and they start in small level stuff because they have good intentions and they want to do good things for their friends and their neighbors and their community and all that kind of stuff. And as they grow, they lose their intestinal fortitude. Apparently, I don't know what.
That's because they get a taste for what they're doing. They want to do it again. Well, you won't get reelected. Well, I didn't get elected to get reelected. I got elected to do what I thought was the right thing.
Right. But this is fun. I want to keep doing what I'm doing, so I'm gonna have to shift it into keeping myself.
Yeah, I got to do something different now because
I don't disagree with that being part of the game too.
I got to go to the pretty people party.
Nobody invites me to that.
Well, I'm here with you guys and not in Vegas because I didn't get invited to this bachelor party. So I'm right there with you.
I thought you sent your employees out there.
Yeah, my partner and he took the employees with him.
Well, they went.
Right, but I'm not. It's just.
Oh, I thought that was by choice.
No, it's the way it's kind of is. It's the way it's. I am not. I won't say unfriendly to my staff, but I don't invest personally in them. Like I try to keep an arm's length from them in their personal lives. I don't want to be the best man in one of my employees' weddings.
Yeah,
I think that's for me. I'm uncomfortable with that. My partner is not, business. And it's a cool relationship with how everything works out between my partner and I and our employees and stuff like that, because he can motivate them through the buddy thing, and then I get to be the asshole and be like, "Fucking do your job." And so then they go and bitch to him about me being an asshole to him.
So
but then
you have no interest in team building.
No, I have a fantastic team. I built an amazing team.
I'm kidding.
I'm good at what
Seth,
I do.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I meant that in a joke, everyone. Seth is the quintessential team builder. He truly is. Like it or not, Seth is building an empire, and I think in some respects he knows it.
This podcast is going places, Seth.
I hope so. Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, I have too much fun doing it. I'm not giving it away. We had a big whatever it was about the Jennifer Owen episode this week landed.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It landed hard. I got I went off on the Lee thing that we talked about earlier about how they just drop this mandate down even though you're let local take care of stuff things. And I think to me, because I don't really think that much about what I'm doing while we're doing it and show wise and stuff. So every once in a while I drop a gem on accident and it's like And again, going back to this is how I treat my employees too. It's like as the executive in my business, when I'm at the store just hanging out, stopping by, not today because I actually had a scheduled shift. That was weird. But when I go, stop by, see how things are going, check in. The last thing I say before I leave, is there anything you need from me to do your job? Is there anything you're missing? Is there any parts and pieces of, whatever. Is there anything you need from me to do your job? And I think that is how I think I'm going to start looking at executives in government. Is that should be your job. It's not to do what I want to do. Not to go and shit on you and say this is my place, do what you're told. It's a how do I help you do your job? Because I already have the job designed.
Bring me more votes. So I'm gonna put Daniel on the spot now, and that was a great segue into it. So we're gonna get past city elections. It's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And then we actually have a general because, we have a primary that's not a primary for nonpartisan races, and then we're paying for 2 elections for no reason in this city.
No, it's a field reduction primary. I mean, it's just because what was it? 17. We had one of the 6 had like 6 candidates in the primary.
Whoever gets the most votes wins. Isn't that? I don't know. I'm a simple guy.
Well, I mean, I'm a.
Oh, I know. No, I want a second chance. If my guy doesn't win the first time, I want ranked choice voting so my guy can win the 3rd or 4th or 9th time. We can't. Yeah, I'm a no. Hold an election once.
If
we're paying for these every time,
and we are paying for your primaries too. And it's your primary, and if your state,
let's close them. I'm happy to pay for my own.
Then I'm happy. If you're going to close them, then I think you should.
And I told you before, the county can close theirs. I'm good with. All right, so I'm going to put Daniel on the spot. City races are this year. What happens next year? Oh,
next year's going to be big. You made a poor life choice
Daniel,
starting right
now. No. He made an excellent life choice. 2022 is going to be a barn burner in the county of Knox.
We're talking 60 plus ballot items?
Brother, I'm telling you right now, there is no one in Knox County better prepared, better suited, and better able to navigate on behalf
all right, so
of the Republican Party.
This brings up
Daniel Herrera.
This brings up the thought process I had earlier about like how I want to take your guys' primary, even though I'm not a Republican. Who's running for sheriff?
You got Spangler and you got JJ.
And Matt thinks that they're going to pull
as of right now.
Right. Anyway. Matt believes that they're going to pull a candidate to run on the D side of that ticket. Exactly. Your laugh right now is my point. Because there might be somebody, and they might put somebody up, and when they get announced, I'll reach out to them and I'll do an interview with them, just like I'm going to try to do an interview with everybody else. It's going to be a really tough year for me in 22 with all this stuff going on. But the reality is, whoever wins the Republican primary for sheriff is 98% going to win that seat.
Yeah.
So if I truly want to pick through the available candidates of who is going to be sheriff, I'm doing it on the primary. Mm-hmm. That's my point.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If Matt had a viable, reasonable individual to run for sheriff, he could probably get him over the finish line in the general election. But if he's looking for somebody to eliminate 287G, if he's looking for somebody to hire social workers to do police work, if he's looking for somebody that is going to decriminalize crime, he's probably not going to win in Knox County.
Maybe.
That might sell in New York. It might sell in
I don't disagree
Memphis.
with anything what you're saying right now, but that has nothing to do with my point.
So what you're saying, Seth, is the Republican brand is what's going to carry the win in the end.
For particular seats, yeah.
For some
I mean, at least it's like the math is there, the history is there.
But he wants to say he wants to be able to vote in the primary. I mentioned before about closing primaries. He wants to say, and I can appreciate what you're saying. Am I incorrect?
No, I mean that's
okay. So we're gonna essentially have 3 candidates who the Democrats and Matt Shears puts up, JJ and Tom Spangler. So
So quick
now
non
what?
quick non sequitur. Matt paid his debt. He bet me that I wouldn't get Spangler on the show, and I did. And he came out and hung out with me at the shop today and paid his debt because he lost that bet. But again, yeah, that's the point to me is that I acknowledge that the brand, if, as you say, is going to get it is who's going to end up with the past the general, and so I want to put a say in as I can.
Well, tell Matt to find a Republican to run against JJ and
just let him and just put a D on him, even though he's not a Republican.
No, just tell him to run as a Republican, like never mind. So, that's a bad idea. So let me ask you this: you had him on. What'd you think? What's your impression of
I don't know.
Tom Spangler?
Again, it goes down to that, like, because for me, trying to explore where the sheriff sits in the grand scheme of things, as far as the hierarchy of the state and local and all that kind of stuff, is a very special kind of relationship. Yeah. Because he answers to the voters. It's an elected position. I agree with that part. But at the end of the day, there's not. It's him or the state. I mean, we'd have to go again. It goes back to trying to get Massey or Manis or somebody else in Nashville to change state law, because essentially he just follows state law. He doesn't have a border body that oversees the sheriff's office, and so that was a big part of what I was talking about there. And he was talking about some other stuff. And the standard issue with both KPD and the sheriff's office is they're understaffed constantly, consistently. They can't hire and retain enough people. Same answer as the schools. We just need more money. It's always more money. That's the only way that we fix any of these problems. But I don't know. Like, I didn't, I only got like 30, 45 minutes with him, so I didn't get to do a long show with him.
You got a lot of time. The guy works like 80, 100 hours.
I mean,
week.
And to be like fully honest, I haven't had an interview of a person on this show that I've ever felt had an ill intent in what they were doing. And maybe my radar on that is a little bit skewed or whatever, but I've never felt like there's anybody that has like the devil on the shoulder that they're actually listening to when they're out doing these things. And maybe they're that good at presenting themselves beautifully, but I think there's plenty of people that I have ideological differences on how I think the right direction for X, Y, or Z should be, but I've never had a person on the show that I was like, that person is just fucking evil. I haven't had that yet. I'm sure they exist. And I'm sure there's a whole set of people that say I'm talking to two evil people right now, where there's a whole other set of people that said when I had Matt on last week, I was talking to an evil person then, because that's the way the world works.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know Matt
That's
Shearer's,
not where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know Matt Shearer's.
Matt wants to know you. We got to fix this. We got to get a party battle show back on, because that was with Randy and Matt, we had a really great time. And Matt's chomping at the bit for the opportunity to do it.
And I'll say this: I don't know Matt Shearer's. I don't think he's an evil person at all. I mean, we just disagree in our policies and our party.
Right. And
I have nothing negative to say about
it. And as I think, I would guess, and knowing and how I know Matt, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it, I would assume that if Matt got to know you, he'd probably feel the same. Like I think Matt, and I think Randy agrees. I think Matt's a reasonable, good dude. He has an ideological direction that he wants to go. You guys have an ideological direction that you want to go, and you don't agree on how to get certain places and stuff like that. But as far as I could tell, everybody's reasonable people, and it's fun. Sure. Like I think I think it's super interesting to have the two people that have these different ideologies to get to actually talk to each other, because I think that's what we don't see much anymore. Is maybe we get a debate or we get some of these forums or whatever, but those are so structurally like you don't really get a feel of these are just two people that are talking to each other. They have different ideas, because we do it in normal life. Some of us do, at least. Some of us are willing to have friends that have different ideas than us, and we'll go out and sit at the bar and argue over stuff. That's how the podcast started, essentially. The four of us are, kind of all over the map, is at least politically, philosophically, and so it's fun for me. I enjoy it. Yeah. And I think that's something that we don't have a good model of in the political sphere, locally or nationally for that matter. It's literally just throwing firebombs as much as we can until the election's over, and then we take a little bit of a break, and then we start throwing firebombs for the next one.
It never stops.
Yeah. And I mean hell, at this rate, going back to talking about the 22 election, I mean we've had announced candidates since the beginning of this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, JJ already officially announced it. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody knew he was going to do it, but he officially announced it, did a press release kind of thing. Spangler obviously put his out in response. Mayor Jacobs, right?
He announced as well.
He announced it earlier this year too, and it's you got Biggs and I mean, there's a ton of people that are already announcing, and it's like, shut up for a second. Let's get through these city races. Just give me November 3rd or whenever it is, the day after
I'll
city
keep
race.
that list for you, brother, and I'll bring them all.
Okay, it's gonna be. I might have to quit my day job. I might have to take a leave of absence to get through.
You won't. You give them all 20 minutes. You got 20 minutes.
No, I do an hour. It's an hour or nothing.
You
I
got
hate doing
20
short
minutes.
shows. No, I
You
hate
got
doing
20
short shows.
minutes.
I want my shows to be an hour. I want people to complain that it's so long.
You would have to quit. You're not listening to me. There's going to be so many of them.
I understand. I truly understand.
I think
All right.
this is one of the few shows that actually has candidate information. Like, you can't go to, WBIR or WATE and find an interview with someone that
If
is
you
2
want a
hours long.
6-second soundbite to get you elected, this ain't it.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I'm going to tell you right. I'm going to tell you right now, Seth. He's killing it.
I mean, yeah.
Say everything
My thing-
you want to say, as long as you want to say it.
Like my thing always like, I'm not gonna make you look bad. If you look bad, that's your fault.
Well, that's on you. Yeah.
You know, I am not good enough at these little trap games, because I mean there's plenty of stuff that we've already talked about, like the Lincoln dinner stuff and stuff like that. That if I was smart enough, I could have like framed that question in a way that made you look bad, no matter how you answered it. I'm not that smart. I don't care to do that. That's not the point. Because again, going back to
The
that whole
super
argument.
spreader event.
I mean, it might be. We'll see. I don't know.
Right?
Whatever. I mean, but again,
Stuff like that.
you're a group of 500 plus adults that made a life choice. Deal with it. There's a whole group of people that weren't comfortable in that situation, regardless of the pandemic. To be fair,
Sure.
The people that were complaining about it loudest wouldn't have gone to it if it was free, because they wouldn't have been comfortable there, regardless of the health issues.
And that's perfectly all right. I
Right.
have no issue with that.
But again, that was my point in it. It's people throwing fire at a thing that they're going to throw fire at no matter what's happening. They're just trying to pick the thing that they can start the fire with.
But I'm going to make it pretty damn hard for you to throw fire at.
Right.
Now, wait a minute. So let's talk about Lincoln Day just for a second.
Again,
I'm
we
sorry.
already talked about it.
No, we have to
Oh,
talk
okay.
about it again.
Go.
And I hate to keep kicking the press. I really do. But Daniel, we had many conversations, and we talked about it, and we hashed it. There was a lot of concern.
Sure.
So we actually had somebody buy a ticket and didn't show up.
That's true. Yeah. So when Victor Ashe posts stuff that the press can't buy tickets and all that, whatever.
We don't want them there. Blah blah.
I mean,
blah.
I was invited. I didn't know if that was Randy invited me. I didn't know if that was an invitation.
I think that was
to
an
go,
invitation to pay. I think that's
or if it was an invitation to buy a ticket.
But no, we had Knox News. They bought a ticket through Georgiana Vines. I mean, it's not unethical. I mean, we were charging everybody to show up. I mean, you as a member of the press, if you want to show up to this event, you're gonna pay for it just like everyone else, and you have the opportunity to do it or not do it. So, but we did. We had Knox News. They paid for a ticket. They ultimately didn't show up, but they paid for a ticket.
That was nice of them.
So
They didn't eat dinner. They didn't take any drinks. I mean, that's a
It was a
bonus.
net positive for us.
Right.
I mean, again, it goes back to my original point. I don't care. It's your party. You're not obligated to give me anything because I pretend I'm media. That's just dumb.
So on behalf of the chairman of the Knox County Republican Party, on behalf of the Republican Party at large, I want to go on record and thank the Knoxville News Sentinel for supporting the Knox County Republican Party and making a donation and making Lincoln Day a success. Georgiana Vines, I'm sorry she wasn't able to attend, and I personally would be happy to take Georgiana out to lunch. She missed a fine dinner provided by Rothschilds, and if she has any questions about what happened at Lincoln Day that she wasn't able to fill, I'm happy to answer those questions too.
There's the headline of my show.
Is that the headline?
Randy thanks Knox News. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Randy thanks Knox News
Okay,
for
so-
supporting the Knox County Republican Party.
So to give us a small topic to close out on, last time you were here, Randy, you were talking about some of your goals, your future within the state party. I think it was the state party of the election commission.
I failed. I sucked it up. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just curious, like what was happening in that direction for you, and that's
yeah. So, the state executive committee had 2 vacancies in District 6 in the SEC, State Executive Committee. So, Matt Coleman had moved out of the district, and we had a legislative win. One of our SEC members moved into the state legislature, and you can't do both.
right.
So we had 2 vacancies. I had announced, and yeah, we talked about it at length. They can go back and read or listen to all the prior shows. I did not prevail in that effort.
Okay.
So there's a cat by the name of Brian Hornback, and he's been around a long time. He's from around here. I'm not. I'm from West Tennessee. So anyway, Brian Hornback was appointed by the State Executive Committee to fill that vacancy for the male seat. There was a gal by the name of Elaine Davis, who actually serves as the vice chair of the Knox County Republican Party, that was seeking the female seat.
Right.
And so Eddie Smith, former state legislator, his wife threw her hat in the ring. And that's what the state SEC went with. Brian Hornback and Lana Smith, and the 2 current county executive committee members were left out, out in the cold. So Knox County's representation in the state executive committee is more of the same old.
I'm trying to get Brian. I've been trying to get Brian on the show. I wanted to do a swap show.
I'm sure Brian will come.
I asked him. He said he was too busy for me. I mean, he is out there doing stuff. Like I pay attention to his blog.
He works hard. He's got a full-time job.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him. I'm happy to get him on.
I'll hit him back up. I haven't asked him in months.
I'll tell him it's imperative.
Imperative.
Now that I've said something nasty, and it really wasn't meant to be nasty, because I'll be honest with you. In Knox County, the Republican Party is made up of look at it like Ireland or Scotland. There's a whole bunch of clans. Everybody pulls in a different direction. Let's all get on the same rope.
Right.
Okay? Once we get on the same rope, we're in good shape. Anyway, long story short, Brian's not going to run. He told me, his lips, my ears, he told me he was going to run next year for this seat. He was asked to run by one of the current SEC members, and only as a stopgap measure.
Gotcha. Just to get to the act, because it was an appointment. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, because it was an appointment to fill a vacancy.
Gotcha.
So it's on the ballot in 2022. It's going to be a barn burner.
So thanks to Brian Hornback and the state committee, you locally get more Randy Pace, everybody. So when I get him on the show, I'll have to thank Brian for.
Actually, no, you don't get Randy Pace. You get Brian Hornback.
No, we get more of you.
Brian and I get along.
I'm saying we get more of you now because you're not busy with that. That's what I was getting at.
I see.
Are you sure you want that?
Thank you, Daniel. Did you hear him? Are you listening?
Wait. Are you sure you want that? I think is what I heard.
Oh, I love hearing it.
All right, guys. I mean, this was fun. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a show?
If you haven't voted yet, go out and vote.
Tuesday. You gotta get out. Go vote.
Tuesday. I intend on doing at least like that might be the shortest episode I've ever done, is I might do a quick 15-minute post-election show.
Oh, you can do it the night of election or the day after?
I'm thinking about it.
Cool.
Like one of the things I'd love to do, like long-term as I go, like I say, because I got the green screen up for you guys. You guys can't see it because I've just had their website behind them just as something to fill the backstop. But like what I'd love to do is have is like for an election night have the either the scrolling page from the election commission or whatever that shows results as they're coming up.
Yeah.
And you just have that going on behind us, and we can talk about it because you guys could see it. You could sit and I could sit and watch the TV and see what's behind me theoretically.
Well, if you're looking for something, if you are looking for something on election night, come down to the press room at 8:00.
Really?
Yeah, you're welcome. You're more than welcome.
So we didn't get to talk about bylaws. I'm going to do a teaser.
Okay.
Come back to almost an agreement. Daniel and I will come back on, will we not?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about the TNGOP state party bylaws changes.
That's a big thing.
And it doesn't affect these races because they're
nonpartisan. But
yeah,
we're going to have fun.
I'm not sure I'm going to have fun on that one, but I'll do it anyway.
Oh, no.
I think you'll actually
enjoy
it.
I think you will.
All right. Well, then that's a teaser for me and you guys.
Bunch of jockeys, people jockeying for positions. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Okay. Do we get to watch it? Like, is it like a like at the fair where they have the little horse race where you shoot the water on the target and the horses run?
Everybody can watch. Not everybody can participate. What do you have to participate? You got to be a member.
Right. Just like when at the reorganization thing, and I get it and I respect it. Like, I make fun of it, but like when I went to the reorganization meeting, there's a line on the floor that I wasn't allowed to cross, and I thought that was hilarious. But, I get it. Again, it's the same thing. It's your party. I'm not part of it. I'm not trying to be a part of it. I'm just trying to,
Yeah, but it's your government.
I'm trying to watch the show.
That's why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. But I'm saying, like, again, I respect your party to do what your party wants to do. I'll take issue with things that I take issue with. I'll appreciate things that I appreciate.
And I will always welcome fair criticism, but not just fodder for the sake of fodder.
Right. I get that. And I mean, and that's what I want too. Like, I don't like just throwing fire. Just throwing fire for the sake of fire. Like, to me, it always comes down to, what are you trying to say when you're saying this thing? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to influence somebody to change their opinion of a thing? Because for the most part, as we've seen, all that does is dig the trench deeper and widen the gap. It doesn't. It's not. You're not picking off people by blaming Mayor Jacobs for the schools issue when it's not true.
Right.
You're not. It's just that's not what's happening. And so why are you what is the point? And that's what always frustrates me about it, because like somebody thinks that it's a winning move, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, somebody thinks that somebody out there is not going to vote for Mayor Jacobs next year on a thing that's going on right now that he has nothing to actually do with.
Right.
I don't know why I'm picking on that one particularly, but that's just one that came in my head. And there's plenty of them all over the map where it's just like, I'm just going to make a thing, and it's like, do you really think that is a thing that is going to change your mind?
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody takes the time to have that thought process before they write and send. Because I think it's just, it sounds good, and the people that agree with me are going to get excited about it, but they already agreed with me no matter what. So,
well,
last call.
That's on you, brother. I'm not going to say it. Low information voters, get involved. We're participatory government.
Yes, we are.
Get on board.
Because again, to me, that's the point. I don't think, as the hiring manager here, and as the group of hiring managers that we are as constituents, I don't think we know what the job is. And I think there's plenty of candidates that don't know what the job is either.
Yeah,
and they can get away with not knowing what the job is, or they can get away with lying about what they want to do in the job if they do know what the job is, because we don't know that they're lying to us.
So how would your wife feel if you took every nickel you made and dumped it into getting the right people elected to public office?
I would prefer that you did not.
That was a fortuitous moment.
That was perfect.
That's what I'm talking about. See what I mean?
That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
I'm no kidding, man. No kidding. We are a participatory government. Get on.
Yeah.
What? Don't expect inspect. These are not things that sell. These are truths.
Right.
Seth, you're in it.
Yeah.
Like it or not, you're in it. You're in it.
Apparently,
neck deep.
I do like it.
You are in it neck deep.
All right, you got any plugs you want to throw out for anything specific?
No, just go vote on Tuesday, and if you do want to go watch an election night party, it's 8:00 at the press room. And Seth, you're awesome, man. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. KnoxCountyGOP.com. That's their website. You can go in there and get more information about stuff like that.
And there's a donation button on there too if you're ever
Just throwing it. Yeah. If you got an extra 20 you want to throw
yeah,
somewhere.
if you got an extra $2,000.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't worry about it.
That's a podcast, everybody. That's what we do. We talk for many hours about many things and go all over the map doing so. We're Almost in Agreement. Check us out at almostinagreement@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, or on YouTube. You can go to almostinagreement.com and get all the episodes. They're available on the website. Or you can go see us at those other places. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, almostinagreement.com/cityelections21. Tuesday is election day, so I'm going to pull it down on Tuesday night because it's too late to get any information off there. So if you haven't voted yet and you're a city resident, go to cityelections21. You got links to GayGIS and other stuff in there. And anyway, while you're at any places, please like, share, friend, tell people about what we're doing. We're trying to get more information out for more people about what's going on with their local governments and politics, obviously. So we're Almost in Agreement. Thanks for hanging out, and y'all have a wonderful week.
How long?
2 hours. Getting people in trouble.